What's going on, everyone? Welcome back. I hope everybody's having a great day. Folks, got a cool find for you. However, it's not my find. It's a good friend of mine, Thomas's, from Spacelink TV. Now, I think you're going to like this one because this is pretty cool. And like I said, this is not my find. When I saw what he had shown, I was like, wow, this is pretty darn cool. And then we dive a little deeper into this anomalous area, and you're going to see what we found. Let's just jump right into it. All right, here is this channel right here, Spacelink TV. Again, this is not my find. You can see 2 days ago he had new large construction found on Mars in satellite image. Okay, now folks, this is the same gentleman who has brought you the Baltic Sea anomalies. He's actually good friends with these divers, and you can just go down just a little ways and you can see, like right here, he's got one on the left, he's got one down here, I believe, and he actually has at least 2 to 3 different interviews with these divers. Really, really cool stuff. In addition to that, he also does a fantastic job with his videos and he has some really cool finds. So if you're not subscribed to this channel and you want more channels to view cool stuff, jump on this one, sub to the channel, and let him know I sent you there. I think he'll be happy to have more people on board because he shows some amazing stuff. All right, let me show you where you can get it. You can jump over here to the high-rise page. You can see it right here. Now, folks, you'll need the high view viewer in order to view this and open this JPEG too. Now, they do say that the Photoshop will open this. Some people say it doesn't work for them, so I don't know. However, you just get the high view viewer and you can actually open these particular ones. I'm going to show you that in a moment. I've gotten this one right here, the black and white map projected. It's 234 megs. Not a big file at all, and it's pretty darn good, right? This is what you'll get right here, and you can see it. It's pretty cool. I mean, here's the viewer right here, and I'm looking at this particular one. Okay, bounce right back here real quick. And you can see what he's found. The object here on the left, it's very small. Magnified, it's right here. What looks like a giant arch, as far as I'm concerned. Now, this was from the MRO, the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter. And you can see right here, the image was processed by Thomas Mikey Jensen. Okay, so this is what we're going to have a look at. And there's a little bit more that's in this photo. So again, I don't get the credit for this find here. All right. Again, you can get it right here, the JP2. Click on that link right there in the middle of the page. You can see it, 234 megs. Now let's bounce back to the viewer right here. Now, folks, all we got to do is just jump in there and just do this here. Let's just zoom in. Right in this area. Let's keep zooming in. Keep zooming in. Okay. And folks, it's right here. Let's keep going in. I'm going to put this right in the middle of page view, folks. Right smack dab right there. You can see it right there. Let's keep going in. Okay. Keep zooming in, keep zooming in. Check that out, folks. Now, to me, that doesn't look natural. What caught my eye is that it has this weird edge right here. Like, you can see the edge of this object. Now, is it some kind of arch? Is it just a structure standing up and looks like an arch? I don't know. So I decided to jump in this myself and have a look. And folks, what I did was I turned it around 180 degrees so that we can have a better look, like if we were standing here looking into it this way. Now, also take note of, and I noticed this to begin with, these other, what looks like these weird shapes right next to the arch. See it right here? I'm going to go around it with the cursor or the crosshairs. What looks like a couple other objects laying next to this. Okay, let's jump right into it. All right, so I cut the photo so we can jump right into it. And folks, here it is right here. So let's go ahead and back out, rotate, okay, and have a closer look. Now, again, you can see what looks like this weird arch type thing, at least I could, with looks like a darker area, almost like a shadow. And you can see this thing, it's pretty pronounced. I mean, it's pretty even too. I mean, it looks like it has a thickness of this here. Now, the more I got into it, though, I found out that it actually has a manipulation where they cover this up. Folks, I don't know if this is like some kind of giant cave opening, if it's just some kind of arched structure, I don't know. Let's just get into it. Okay, so right off the bat, we have these objects right here. I thought was pretty interesting. And again, we can just see the edge of this object doing this. Okay, and of course, we have the object doing this, and so on and so forth, right? So let's just back out just a hair. And what I did was I burned a little bit. You can start to see these little other pieces. Although you can't make heads or tails of them, you can see what looks like little shapes and stuff like that, right? Okay, let's keep going. Also notice there are actual objects inside these darker areas. Now here's the funny part. Well, it's not really funny because we're aware of this, but what they do is they'll put all of this completely dark. You can see this from the beginning. There's really not much there. But as you get into it, a lot of this stuff is in the darker areas. Here we go. All right? So we're just going to go ahead and bring it out more. Anything that was white, we try to bring out more, right? Folks, what are we seeing here? Pretty cool. And like I said, you can see what looks like all the little anomalies and these other shapes, which 100%, in my opinion, are not natural. Have a look at that. I believe he said this was approximately 330 feet in length. I think he said it was 70 meters, I believe it was, which is rather large, right? Here's another area that's of interest that kind of caught my eye, right? So I'm looking around, trying to see if I can find anything else on either side, and then I ran into something I thought was pretty interesting. Now, you can't see this very well because you weren't meant to, but check out these little pieces here. Little shapes, okay? All up in here. Have a look at that. Let's rotate this a little bit so you can see it just a hair bit better. So I'm going through this and I'm looking at this a little bit more. Now I want to get all of these lines out. You know, anything that's got to do with this right here. You can see it very faintly. It looks like these dots. But there's also other shapes in here. You're going to see a little bit better. So as we keep going, okay, check this out. Folks, not natural. And if you look really closely, you can see other objects very faintly, just slightly brighter than the darker areas, right? Okay, now check that out. Again, they're not going to be super clear because they weren't supposed to be seen to begin with. But again, this. Well, it looks like pieces lined up in a row here. Okay? It actually looks like it goes like this. There's like this opening in the ground. It looks like it comes up and out of the ground. Goes like this. Something goes like this and back down. Do you see that? That's pretty interesting stuff. That's pretty cool. See that? Okay? There's another area down here. Now, this may be nothing more than an artifact of the photo, but you can see what looks like this L-shaped area. See that? Folks, I think that's pretty neat. And if you look around, you can see more and more of these little structures right here. Just have a look, folks. Here's another one. Now, let me show you what it looks like. Again, back to the original. Where's it at? This is the same stuff, folks, that they pull on the moon. The same stuff. They just kind of whiten everything out, bleach it out, call it what you will. But this stuff is, in fact, there. All we do is get into the darker areas and try to bring more of it out. But again, folks, look at this. Without doing anything else, look real closely with your magnifiers. Check this stuff out. Okay? There are shapes in here that just scream intelligently made. Now, I almost didn't see this part here because you can just see it right here running right there. You see that? Let me just get the line back up right there. So what did I do? I took down the brightness of these areas so that we can make heads and tails of it and kind of bring it a little bit better. Right? This, to me, alone, screams intelligently made. That, in no way, looks natural. Again, with all the little pieces, different shapes, other objects in a row, almost look roundish. Looks like an opening in the ground. This thing looks like it's coming up and out of the ground. It looks like sections. And again, folks, just have a good look at it with your magnifiers, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. This goes like this. There's 1, 2, then it looks like it comes back down. It has a curvature. You see that. And so I like to darken it sometimes because it helps the whiter parts stand out better. Bring it back up. Pause it right here. Now let's jump back over to the arch section. Just rotate this bad boy back. Folks, between what looks like structures to the left of this and this object right here with all of these odd shapes, I don't know about any of you folks, but I'm seeing things that are not natural. I'm seeing intelligently made objects. Now, this is what I was talking about earlier. You can see what looks like this line. See this right here? You can see it going like this. It's almost like they tried to hide that the fact that maybe this is like this, and maybe it's not that wide, folks. Maybe it's like this, and then it has the bottom. I'm just going to draw a line that it could be doing, right? Maybe underground is doing this kind of thing like this. So is it possible that it's some kind of just individual structure, it's only X amount thickness, or is this stuff in fact here, and this is going into a hillside, going to the underground? It's anybody's guess. It's pure speculation, of course, because we just don't know, folks. But interesting to say the least, right? And again, we have these other objects here, right there. See that? Put this right in the middle so you can check it out. There you are, folks. Pause it right here. Have a look here on your left. And of course, the very large anomaly right here. Now we're going to brighten it up. Kind of distorts this part a little bit more, only because this is brighter to begin with than this area here was. And we're trying to bring that out more. And folks, there you go. Folks, when I first saw this from Thomas, I looked at this thing and I said, what is going on? Clearly intelligently made, in my opinion. When I looked at that, I said, okay, how does a shape like that end up on Mars? Okay? And the more you investigate that and the more you enhance it, you start to see these other objects. And folks, I didn't have to do a whole lot when you can see those other two objects right next to, we're going to call it the arch, right? This arch with these objects, it looks like they're protruding out from under it. Is it a cave? Is it just a giant arch design type thing? The other thing is, too, we go over to the left, because you know me, I got to dig into this photo. I got to see what else is in there. I look to the left, and sure enough, there's something else there. What looks like a bunch of little structures in that area. And I'm sure, folks, I only touched just the tip of the iceberg on this. I'm sure there's plenty more in that photo itself, because it's quite big. You've seen it, right, in the viewer. But just those areas alone, what Thomas found, and thank you, Thomas, for showing this to the public, because everybody needs to see this. And in addition to that, the other stuff that I found. So it's just crazy how much is on Mars and we're not being told about. Now, folks, you know they started this censoring and this washing out and this sanitizing of the moon photos long before they went to Mars, at least public-wise. And then after they started to show pictures of Mars, many of them are bleached out, sanitized, manipulated, and totally blocked any kind of information that you and I want to see. And that's what's going on. They went from the moon, and then they perfected their manipulation techniques and, you know, sanitizing and everything else to block it out. And they're doing the same thing on Mars now. Luckily, we get to see these things, at least bits and pieces of it, and we can clearly see that this stuff is not natural. As always, folks, you know the drill. Drop your comments down below. Let me know what you think. I'm interested to hear what you've got to say. Please like and share the video. It's always appreciated. And don't forget to give the video a thumbs up. And by the way, folks, got more coming up, and I think you're going to love these. These are cool, so stay tuned. Anyway, folks, thanks for watching. Always appreciated, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.